Before we begin, if you are a viewer from Off the Bench, and if you watch my Tigers series, consider subscribing here on MLB for all of my future MLB The Show and OOTP series, and the regular topical baseball videos. It is finally time to begin a new franchise here on MLB The Show 26. I have been itching and kicking for this opportunity all off season. All I thought about was the ways I wanted to improve upon the Tigers series. There was a bump in the road as I had originally selected the Cardinals, and a much bigger YouTuber who I do watch chose the Cardinals, and I didn't want to get fatigued out of the team I play anyways, so we pivoted to the team that I was thinking about a lot when I was making my selection, the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox are a bottom 3 team in MLB The Show 26. They had the 6th ranked farm system, bad contact, bad defense, bad speed, bad pitching, bad power. It was a perfect pie baked together for a good opportunity to make a franchise. While I was excited to make some moves with the Cardinals, I'm also very excited to develop the White Sox through the draft and try to not fumble another chance at another rebuild. Not that long ago, the White Sox were a playoff team. They find themselves now with one of the worst records in baseball in 2024. In 2025, they went 60 and 102. And now in 2026, we look to do a little bit better than that. There's a lot of players on this team that I'm very excited to watch their career arcs and how they develop. Guys like Colson Montgomery, Shane Smith, Murakami at first base. I mean, we also have Kyle Teal, Chase Mydroth is here, Grant Taylor is here, Sean Burke. I like Sean Burke. I'm a big Sean Burke guy. There's a lot of guys on this team who I'm so excited to see how they develop. They are younger, lower B potential guys, so you never really know what their limit could be. And they also have guys like Nola Schultz coming up, Tanner McDougal, Hagen Smith is coming up. I did fix the White Sox roster as I didn't agree with all the ratings. I did not cheese anything. I had to fix a couple guys like Edgar Cuero. I had to fix Lennon Sosa a little bit. I think some of the splits were a little off. Miguel Vargas had to get fixed. His splits were off, and he was underrated in some areas and very overrated in others. And I even had to fix Luis Angel Acuna because he was a 72, the 3rd highest rated player on the team, I think, offensively. And that just can't fly because he's only had like a 500 something OPS in the majors, and for some reason was rated the 3rd or 4th best offensive player. So we took care of that and we lowered his ratings that match his baseball savant profile, and I looked a lot into his statistics and his advanced stats and splits and everything like that. I think we're going to get to know the team a little bit, talk about some plans. Maybe we'll jump into a few spring training games and get to know everybody. Colson Montgomery is the highest rated player on the White Sox, the shortstop at an 83 overall. I think there was an update recently and you could see their start of season ratings and their current ratings. So once we get a little bit deeper into a season, that's going to be pretty exciting to see. I see that there is a little badge underneath the quirks now. That's also pretty new. Colson's splits are definitely favored more towards contact and power versus righties. He's got great fielding too. A solid arm to play at the shortstop position, good enough speed, he's got good durability, he'll walk a decent amount in the sim because of his discipline. I think with his low vision, low clutch, it'll take Colson a couple of years to fully break out with us, but to build the core around, this is a great player. And then the best pitcher we have on this team is 82 overall Shane Smith. The 25-year-old has great per-nines all across the board. He's got average control, good clutch, good stamina. He's got a great pitch mix, fastball, circle change, sinker, curve, slider. All of them are average to above average to good, especially the sinker being his bread and butter pitch right there. And then there's the rookie, Munetaka Murakami. I'm very excited about this guy. His zones are utterly filthy for a guy who hasn't played in the majors yet. His ratings are really good as well. Contact and right splits against left is pretty solid. The 54-59, it can play at some level because he has such good power ratings as well. 74 total power, 79 against lefties. Defense is nothing to write home about. He's just about average everywhere. Not great speed. He's not going to swipe bags for you. And he's going to stay healthy most of the season with 87 durability. And he'll draw a good amount of walks at 87 discipline. This is another great player for us to build around. The best pitcher in our bullpen is closing pitcher Sir Anthony Dominguez. His splits favor him much more against righties, but 99 clutch means he can pitch against lefties when he does get into those jams. Let's take a look at one of the younger prospects on this team. He has played a lot of Major League Baseball yet, but he doesn't have a full service this year, I think. Only 78 games. So I think he's still, I don't know if he qualifies as a rookie or not then, because he has under a year according to his card art here. Kyle has great splits against right-handed pitching, not so much against lefties, but I'm sure that can develop potentially over time. He's got great arm strength, good pop time. He's going to be pretty solid at throwing out runners, but besides that, behind the dish, there's not too much to write home about. And catching right underneath Kyle Teal's Edgar Cuero, who is the opposite of Kyle Teal. Edgar prefers to bat against left-handed pitching, 90 contact, 53 power, and a little bit better defensively minus the ability. He can block, he can pop, he can't really throw too hard. 70 isn't an exact, nothing insane to have, and he'll walk a little bit. Then you have our second most expensive player on the team, Andrew Benintendi, the 31-year-old. He's got good power, he's got solid contact, good vision, not great clutch. He's going to stay healthy, and he'll draw a decent amount of walks. Nothing to write home about in the outfield either. He's got 47 total fielding. But to anchor our team for a little bit for the next 2 seasons, I think Andrew Benintendi is going to fit that role really well. Because our budget isn't too bad. We're not going to be signing any free agents right away. I much prefer to draft our way to being competitive, and then we use free agency to plug the holes that we couldn't develop. I feel like if you use the draft to plug the holes that you couldn't pay for, you're a lot worse off than you would be if you just drafted well, developed well, and then plugged holes with free agency. We have $108 million on the books this year, mostly because of Jordan Hicks, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Andrew Benintendi's down there, Murakami up at the top, who I don't mind paying that much at all. But Anthony K down here, $6 million. He's got good per nines, I guess. His control's average. I mean, he's just an anchor rotation guy. Speaking of anchoring the rotation, Tanner McDougal. This is somebody that I've seen a lot of White Sox fans praise, so I made sure he was a little bit better than he normally is. I looked at his spring stats. Maybe a 70's too high, but a lot of White Sox fans are very high on this guy, and he's one of those dudes who, when you talk to other guys who are really into baseball and they know prospects, he's somebody that they get brought up. Like Tink Kentz used to be. He's one of those guys where they're like, this is an underrated prospect. Nobody really knows about him yet, and he's really good. We have Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith. The potential for this starting staff could be wicked. All of them are 22 as well, and they're 1 overall behind each other. I did not mean to do that. Hagen comes as a 69. Noah comes as a 71. I happen to have Tanner at a 70. Just looking a few years down the line, from 2026 to 2028, that starting staff is going to be really good. Shane Smith, Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, Caleb Bonemer is going to be ready. Munataka is going to be at first still. We have Billy Carlson will be playing third. The outfield's going to be very shaky. Braden Montgomery will just be kind of finding his footing out there. Kyle Teal behind the dish is going to be great. And then we go into 2029. This team is still looking very solid. Colson Montgomery. Bonemer's over there. Carlson at second. Murakami at first. You have Edgar Cuero DH and Kyle Teal behind the dish. The outfield looks like it can play, and Braden Montgomery is supposed to take a big jump that year. And then the final year, this is when it's going to get really good. Now, this doesn't include a lot of the drafting we're going to do year to year or any of the trades, but just the outlook from 2026 to 2030 is very hopeful for this franchise. Our farm system ranks second in baseball. I don't know if that's accurate to real life. I think MLB The Show obviously grades prospects a lot differently, but this is a really good starting point for us. We have the #1 rated starting pitcher, the #5 first baseman, but the most major league ready first baseman, the #4 outfielder with Jaden Foskey. I did add him. He's not originally in the game, so I did have to kind of create him as a player and go off of his 20 to 80 grades, so I don't think I made him OP at all or imbalanced. 58 overall at 19 years old, not bad. And then we have the #1 rated right fielder in baseball. I think Zahir Hope should be over him, but we do have Braden Montgomery, 46 contact, 52 power, 61 fielding. A lot of his development is going to be going into that power for him. And he does have an 85 arm, so with his 60 speed, I might see a potential to stick him in center field if we don't have anybody who's faster and better at fielding than he is. I do like center field to be very defensive heavy. Anywhere else you might be able to argue with me. Up the middle, I like gloves. And then in center, I like a glove. Behind the dish, I like a glove. First and third, I prefer an arm at third and some defensive ability. First base, I don't really care. Left and right, that one's a little tricky too. I kind of prefer my right fielders to have an arm, and that's about it. And then left field, that's where I stick my Kyle Schwarber at. So that's kind of my idea for building this roster right now. Again, if we're going to small ball it and cheap ball our way through a season like I do in OOTP, That's a lot more money spent on our defensive guys, trading for defensive first guys, and just praying to the Babib gods that we get some sort of luck. Since we're a little bit heavier in pitching in our farm system, I'm gonna go with more of a position player draft focus here. We do have two guys who could do pitchers up here. Luis Zito, he's got 91, 92. I like to have guys with high efficiency. I don't know if it really, what it does. I assume it means they scout guys faster, so I hope that does something. I do like to have a good discovery scout. I'm using the method that I've always used since the new scouting system has really come into play. Let's just simulate some spring training games here. We'll do the first month, please. I don't really know if spring training stats mean anything in MLB. I know in OTP, I think players have a predetermined amount of rust, quote unquote, that they got to work off of. We'll just keep simming through spring training right now. Get some W's. We're 4-9, 5-10. Austin Hayes. Before we even get to the season, Austin Hayes is going to the 60-day IL. 2 to 3 months. Broken hand. That's rough for us already. And we'll finish spring training at 515 and 15. I think we're gonna have to sign outfield depth already. I don't really have anybody ready to call up. I think we're gonna have to find somebody in free agency real quick. Did we get Tommy Pham? I think we might bring in Tommy Pham. I might unironically bring in Tommy Pham. Anyways, we're gonna sign Tommy Pham to a 1-year deal. I'll overpay Tommy a little bit. We need the depth in the outfield right now. Shout out Aiden. Could I have called up Jared Kelnick? You might be asking me. Yes. Yes, I could have. He's a lefty, and we've had enough lefties. All right, so here is how the roster is going to shake up for opening day. Andrew Benintendi leading things off against righties, followed by Colson Montgomery, Brooks Baldwin, Kyle Teal, Munetaka Murakami, Lennon Sosa, Miguel Vargas, Luis Angel Acuna, and Tommy Pham. While on the bench against righties, we have Chase Mydroth, Edgar Cuero, Curtis Mead, and Derek Hill. Against lefties, we're going to try Miguel Vargas leading things off because he's got good vision, good discipline, decent enough contact power against lefties. I think he'll sim well better there. And then Edgar Cuero following. And then we have Lennon Sosa, Colson Montgomery, Murakami. Back-to-back lefties kind of scares me. So I think we're actually going to move Tommy up to 5, and then Murakami, and then Chase Mydroth, Derek Hill, and Brooks Baldwin. For the pitching rotation, Shane Smith is our obvious ace, followed by Eric Fede, Anthony Kay, Sean Burke, and Davis Martin. We're going to send him to regular season. And on opening day, we will be in Milwaukee facing Brandon Woodruff and the Milwaukee Brewers. I am very excited to get this franchise going. I'm looking for 5 to 6 episodes in our first season. That way we're going through it pretty quickly, and I'm not doing what I did with the Tigers, where I was making good pace and then we slowed down. I don't want to do episodes that are only covering one game. We could start with one full game. We'll cut pieces in here, there, out, but quick counts, manage. Jumping into moments, we're going to be using moments very heavily. Player locks here and there. We'll visit the minor league one time in this regular season. We might have a call-up. And the trade deadline, I'm thinking for the trade deadline, so I'm thinking opening day and then the home opener. That's my game plan for now. I'm very excited. I have some more secrets up my sleeve that I'm trying to work out. I just need more things to hurry up in the Amazon and get here from the mail. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your continued support. If you're from Off the Bench, this is where I'm going to be making this franchise. And like the video, leave any criticisms if you have any, and I'll see you in the next one.